asking, was puberty. So I wrote these stories. I can really see why my first kiss wasn't until I was 17. My view of sex was so skewed. This is what I learned about, this is what I thought about sex pre-7th grade health class. This is probably what I learned from staying home sick and watching soap operas. We have excerpts like, suddenly, Nicole had a fab idea. It was so muddy that they decided to mud wrestle naked. After they were nice and muddy, they just so happened to have a bar of soap, towels, and other bath things. So they washed each other in the rain. Then they danced a slow and touching dance. Then they watched an X-rated movie. And did what they did. Then they had sex. Here's another. Then Bob laid on top of her on the bed. Before Carrie knew what had happened, she had no clothes on. She felt comfy. Suddenly, Bob had the urge to mud wrestle. Since Carrie was small compared to Bob, she obeyed. In 5 seconds, she was completely covered in mushy, gooey mud. Next, Carrie got into the shower. That night, Carrie lost her virginity in a passionate and unsafe manner. They hiked home. Alright, so now we're going to move on. I had whole stories, not just paragraphs. Which, by the way, so that my mom couldn't find my porn, I drew cartoons and put them on a notebook because it was unassuming. So we have... by the way, these were written in the summer after 6th grade. So, I mean, I was 11 or 12 years old, but we had the Love Hotel. It was a dark, stormy night. There was a 6th grade reunion in the Love Hotel. When night neared, everyone started going back to their rooms. Kevin Nelson and James Byrne were standing, staring, with their eyes bulging and mouths ajar at Nicole's sexy body. Nicole saw them staring at her full chest and walked sexily towards them, shaking her hips and turning the guys on. Then Michelle tried walking in on high heels. She had a trench coat on and was flashing all the boys. Kevin and James immediately got turned off. Nicole fixed that. It was nearing 12 o'clock, their curfew, and Nicole had to choose who she would sleep with. She chose by sitting in between them, and she started caressing her body. Then she touched them, and whoever got turned on first was the lucky one. Kevin was the one. James had to sleep with Michelle. He didn't mind because he was being paid $1 million. Meanwhile, Carrie drove off in a sexy man's car with the sexy man. We have not heard from her since. Oh well. Nicole and Kevin walked back to room number 17. When the door was locked, so were Kevin and Nicole, in each other's arms. Nicole's dress was blood red. It was strapless, very low cut, showing off her enormous breasts. The dress was down to her ankles with a slit all the way up her side. Her hair was down. Kevin was wearing a sexy tuxedo, which made him look very handsome. By the way, Nicole's dress had a zipper in the back. Nicole wanted to get more comfy. She wanted to put on lingerie. She couldn't reach the zipper, so she asked Kevin if he could do it. Of course he said yes. Kevin and started kissing her passionately up and down her neck, down to her fingertips. He was kissing her so passionately that she felt tingly. She started to do a strip show for him. He could not touch but only look. That was torture for him. Then Nicole started stripping Kevin. He went along with it and started helping her. Soon he was in his underwear and she was in lingerie. Then they were lying in bed together and they were rolling around. Kevin and Nicole were having the times of their lives. Soon they were mud wrestling. And Kevin was on top of her. Kevin and Nicole wrestled nude. After that, they went into the jacuzzi and they were lying all over each other. Soon, the night was over, and Nicole and Kevin will never forget that night at Love Hotel. Summer romance. Carrie and Nicole were in Atlantic City. They were each 20 years old, and they both had fabulous bodies. And they had on real skimpy bikinis with wraparound skirts. They were cruising around the boardwalk looking for cute guys. Then suddenly they saw the cutest boys surfing. Then we found out their names were Steve and Sam. Carrie wandered off with Sam, and soon I called the police, but they couldn't find her. Oh well. Then Nicole got acquainted with Steve. She appeared very sexy to him. They went on a date to the Atlantic Casino Diner, and later on to a casino. When night came, Steve walked her to her room in the hotel. When they got there, Carrie was making out with Sam, so they went back to Steve's place. When they got there, Steve locked the door, and they were all alone. Nicole was all hot and sweaty, so she wanted to take a shower. In the middle of it, Steve got rambunctious. He stripped and jumped into the shower. Nicole wasn't happy. But Steve was a bodybuilder and was very strong. When she tried to push him away, he got more turned on. He started kissing and licking her passionately. Nicole gave in because she liked it. When she looked into his big blue eyes, she became powerless. When they got out of the shower, she didn't have anything to change into. So Steve gave her silky lingerie, which felt good on her skin. He changed into a trench coat and started telling her how sexy she looked in clothes. Then Steve opened up a mud wrestling ring. They wrestled all night nude. They both enjoyed it very much. Soon the night was over, and Steve and Nicole had to say goodbye to each other because Nicole was going home. As for Carrie and Sam, they decided to move away together. No one has seen them since. No one really cares. The end. P.S. Carrie left Sam, went to college, and got a medical degree. She met another doctor and got married and had 2 kids. P.P.S. Nicole went on to marry Steve, have 3 kids, divorce him, marry Sam, have 8 kids, 3 dogs, 2 goldfish, have the flu 24 times,